While we haven't figured out the camera angle for me yet, I'm on my new setup. Hada, this is what's happening in Melee. Cypher003, one of the best podcasting, one of the best interviewers, if you ask a couple of people on the internet, got a new setup. 60 frames per second.
Guys, 60 frames per second, home built PC.
Let's go.
Jesse has leveled up so hard, and honestly, guys, if you've been a fan since the early days of the pod, we've had a times 70 upgrade. This is Kaioken times 70, bottom of the Smash Mountain. Hey Hada, what's happening this week in Melee? We have an absolute banger episode for you guys this week because we have a cool little segment that, I don't know if this will be a weekly thing or if this will be a one take Jake sort of week, but Melee Guessr is something that I've always theorized, and it has been released to the Twitterverse, and I'm ready to blow everyone's minds because I have consumed so much Melee in my life, and I don't think people respect that. And I'm about to one take it, easy clap. We're gonna get the high score. It's gonna be sweet.
Let's get this segment also introduced with permission from Samox, the creator of the documentary himself. Let's hear Wife's take on how beautiful Melee can be.
Everybody looks different. I can watch a video of a Marth. I can tell you whether it's Ken or Neo or Azen. You can see the style in a person's character, and that to me is incredible.
And, I've ran tournaments.
It's a beautiful game. And Hada, you've consumed so much Slippy content, in particular Slippy Melee, and this is what the database is going off of. I want to give proper shout outs to the person who made this. Let me scroll up our chat. Noah Podgursky at Podgursky Noah on Twitter. This will be linked where you can play Melee Guessr along with us. But why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it? I can now transition our scene for those of you who are watching. Sorry for the people who are listening. You won't be able to see this one. Look at that.
My God.
Now we're ready to play Melee Guessr. So, Hada, are you ready? You got it. You're 1 for 1 so far tonight. You're 1 for 1
we
so
did
far
a little
tonight.
trial run, and it was a sheet clip, and they thought I would get tripped up by a Dreffen clip. I'm the biggest Dreffen fan on the planet. I know Spark personally, and I know the difference between a Plup and a Swedish, and a Plup cheek and a Swedish Delight cheek. Oh, it was the easiest guess of my life. So let's get it. I'm so excited. Let's run it. I'm so excited.
Let's guess the player.
Who's the Marth? Okay, so you got Cobalt, Colin, Shroomed, Zane, and Millie, actually. Okay. So Millie plays green, so we know it's not Millie. It could be Cobalt or Dewan. Just based on characters, Zane plays red, Shroomed plays, I think, also red or green. And Millie almost exclusively plays green, so I'm gonna go with Cobalt on this one just based on color. And it's not anything super flashy. Millie really likes to go for side B extensions. Dewan doesn't go for the crazy aerial follow-up. It's definitely just a really cool dash dance extension. It's gotta be Cobalt.
Okay, let's lock it in for Cobalt. And you got tricked by the colorblind. All right, we have to move on.
That was a Zane clip?
We're doing colorblind.
Oh, it's colorblind. Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
They're doing default skins. You got tripped up this time, but not next time.
Okay. That's cheaters.
So this time we got a Falcon clip. Wizrobe, Kamaster, Nick Witt, and None. Those are your options.
That was a juicy, falling up air shine grab from the Fox. This looks so busy.
Yeah,
that's gotta be Wizzy.
It's gotta be Wizzy. Let's. Oh, whoops! I left clicked. Let's lock in Wizrobe. Let's go. That was easy.
Gotta be Wizzy.
Tech chasing monster. All right, next clip. We got Marth. Pew Pew U, Free Palestine, Shroomed, or Zane. And again, colorblind. So we gotta check out this FD punish.
He hits the pivot, goes for the soft hit up tilt extension. Oh, okay.
A little
that's
bit.
interesting.
Yes, there was a little bit of
I like
pizzazz.
that side B extension, a little bit of sauce. The double jump is a little bit sus because a good Marth can get crouch canceled off that first hit and they get shined and dead. I need to look at it one more time. Okay. So rowing the boat, runs through. That's pretty interesting.
I'm kind of feeling Pew Pew U for this. I don't know why. It might just be because I've had Pew Pew U on the pod so much, but it doesn't look like a clean punish from Zane. Yeah, so it's I would say it's definitely not Zane. But I'm
coin flip between Kevin Toy and Anise. I think I'm gonna go with you. I think it might be K Toy.
All right, let's give it a whirl. It was actually Zane.
Bro, what? Zane? I always give Zane so much credit to like blow people up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so Albert, Momo, Magi, and Wes.
For who is the Falco? So let's go ahead and turn the volume on so that the listeners
that
can at
down
least
smash.
hear the
I really
six
like that
sounds of
sound.
Melee. It's Falco on Falco.
Oh, dude, that anti-aerial shine is actually really telling. It's not Momo. I don't think I've ever seen Momo do that anti-aerial shine. It's not Magi. I feel like Magi up airs in that shine spot. I feel like Magi up airs there. Wes does those falling up airs. But I haven't. I feel bad. Like I need to watch more Albert. Albert's more like of a back air guy. Like he does a lot of like really cool like shine turnaround back airs and soft hit reverse back airs. I'm feeling a West balls right here.
Let's give it a whirl. No, it was
I need to watch
actually
more
Albert.
Oh my god, I need to study. This is actually really good commentator practice. Not even gonna lie. Wow. I guys, I have been humbled in this moment. I felt so confident because I diagnosed that first sheet clip insta. I discounted everyone. Like it was like a crazy no impact land into like a regrab on top platform, reverse, like drift back to get the reverse back air into strong hit fair. And I'm like, dude, that's spark is shit. And I diagnosed it was easy.
Also,
But, you know,
default skin, so you knew that it was
Yeah.
Spark because of that as well. So we're learning curve. On the next segment of Melee Guessr, we'll have to see if Hada and I can improve. And I have to admit, I'm lost when I'm watching these clips. In fairness to Wife and the meta that has advanced since the documentary, it's not just videos on, I don't know, whatever the heck people used to watch on things that were not YouTube in the ye old days. It was just top players. I'm sure there might have been one or two videos that you could find of so-and-so player no one's ever heard of on Smashboards, but let's be honest, if you're watching videos on the early internet, you want to see, you know, actual things. So you want to see Ken versus Isaiah at the most 3. You want to see stuff like that. There's just more Melee now, okay? Apparently over 4,000 clips alone in this early launch of Melee Guessr. So a lot of work, it seems like. I heard about some fun little things where the program would tell you to guess who was actually being comboed and not the combo-er. Who's got really good defensive anti-combo DI?
I feel like they're throwing out a lot of players who probably don't play as much anymore, especially not Slippy. So like Cobalt, like that looked like a very Cobalt Marth clip. And I did see something, I think Ty tweeted out something that, you know, someone guessed, I don't know, it was another Marth, like it was like a Zane clip, but it was actually like Ty's Marth, and he like pulled the Slippy file. It's like, yeah, that's just labeled wrong. And so I think there is a couple kinks to be worked out. You know, I'm gonna throw my hands up and I will admit when I am wrong. But you know, like I think there's just so many samples of like Zane clip, and I feel like he's probably one of the more sampled players. It's like a Zane or like a Mango or a Hungry Box or something, and they're probably gonna be very highly sampled. So I think if you're trying to play the numbers game, especially in the early things, like I think if you're just like coin flipping on a Marth, it's probably Zane. If you're coin flipping on a Falco, it might be like Magi or Bobby or something. Like Bobby's probably a really good answer here because I feel like he's played so much.
Yes. Anyone who does a lot of Melee, I mean, I'm sure Etost, shout outs to Etost, saw this and just freaked out because it goes hand in hand. Like you could guess if you see Bobby Big Balls as a guess for at the bottom of the screen. Thank goodness for multiple choice, by the way. Whew.
Oh yeah.
That would be rough.
Imagine like fill in the blank for this. That'd be so hard.
At least you can have like 4 different kind of quote unquote styles because you know the difference. You, Hada, know the difference between a Spark and a Druffin easily. And it's too bad we didn't see a Peach clip because I think you would get a lot of Peach clips. I think you would.
Yeah.
I think you could recognize a lot of the Peaches out there.
I mean, with Peach specifically, I feel like the meta is really drastically evolving. I think Peach is a very stylistic character, but there's a lot of very good things that every Peach is doing nowadays. Like there was like back in the day, like you could immediately tell the difference between an Armada and a MacD, or you could tell the difference between an Armada and a Bladewise. But today it's like Lod and Ryobeat and Polish. While Polish has a very much so individual aspect to his neutral game, I think their punish games are very optimized and they do a lot of the same things. I think Lod, if you're starting to see a Peach go hyper floating all over the place, maybe it's probably a Lod, but a Peach that's getting a lot of crazy, DI mix-ups with forward tilt or soft hit back air, like triple soft hit back air into rising up air and getting a kill at like this crazy monstrous 0 to death. Is probably a Ryo beat, but if you just see someone deleting people with just optimal, perfect extended punish trees, it's probably a Polish. But like, I don't know. I would love to start seeing some Peach clips. I would love to test my knowledge that way, but we have a lot more segments to do. I hope this is a returning segment for us. I think it's a fun way to, jump into and have some fun with the viewers.
My brain is super stretched right now, and for the listeners, thank you for hanging in with us. At least you got to hear some beautiful crispy Melee, but maybe for Hey Hada episodes, you should check it out. We try to keep it less than 30 minutes. Speaking of trying to keep things less than 30 minutes, let's talk about Function 2. This was the biggest event that happened since we last talked, and this, talk about. The DQs, okay? There were DQs for this bracket, J Mook and
Bobby.
And I'm trying to say Toussaint specifically, who overslept. Oh,
Toussaint overslept. Bobby didn't end up making it out. And,
broke my heart. But it ended up being, just think about this. Crudo, Ginger, Zamu, Slug, Moki, Skurzo, Pipsqueak, Swift. Are any of those NYC players? Are any of those even Jersey players? Because Slug is Philly, so that's kind of where I'm coming from there.
Swift is East Coast, right?
What happened?
Swift is East Coast, but like...
Swift is MDVA. Swift is MDVA. Yeah.
Yeah, MDVA. You're right.
Shout
out. We had a lot of great upsets come out of Jersey specifically. I'm going to shout out my boys at All Chat real quick. J-Flex beating Moki and sending Moki to a very early losers in pools.
Let's go, J-Flex.
And B-Bats taking one over KJH. So great wins for Jersey. I know they didn't make the distance. They didn't make the top 8, but they definitely influenced the bracket very, very heavily. And you love to see the All Chat boys really take a run for it. But God, what a massive, massive losers run from Moist's own Moki. Shout outs to Moist Gaming or Moist Esports. Moist Esports. That's
yes. Mm-hmm.
Running 3-1 through just top 8 alone. 3-1 through Skurzo. 3-1 through Zamu. 3-1 over Pipsqueak. 3-1 over Slug, and then finally falling to Luminosity's own Ginger in grand finals. Coming off of a broken CPAP machine. So Ginger playing, I think his words, not mine, at a little more exhausted than he's been used to, especially with his newly diagnosed sleep apnea. So hoping that he can get a new CPAP machine. He's been performing extraordinarily well, winning Low Tide City, not the most recent one, but the one before that.
Last year in 2021. Yep.
Yes. Winning Function, and then having a lot of very excellent runs as of recent. With the only blemish on his record really being overcome by a monstrous losers run from Bobby Big Balls at the Salt Mine last week, where Bobby, very similar to Moki, just had a monstrous losers run, crushed all the way through top 8, but did what Moki couldn't and took 2 sets over Ginger in the most miraculous fashion. I think it was Game 5 and then a monster 3-0 for Bobby. So Falco stock's pretty high right now. So if you guys want some cool Melee to watch, Bobby, Ginger, some really great places to check out.
I'm trying to think of the run that Bobby Big Balls had where he meets IBDW in winners finals. I can't remember. This was within the past week. I don't think it was East Coast Fridays because it would have been too close to Function 2 for IBDW specifically. But was it last week's Salt Mine? Oh, yes, it was, because
it was
IBDW ended up winning out of losers because IBDW's like, all right. You got the clip of the month because on Yoshi's story, you know the one that I'm talking about?
The wall
jump, and then survives with a second wall jump. It was wild.
Yeah, that was the week. Unfortunately, Olive, the all chat mascot, I think cut her paw on a rusty nail out in the yard or out front. So luckily they got her to the vet and she's okay. But definitely was not a happy pup, but she is okay. So we didn't actually have a stream last week, at least on the all chat channel, but I know that was streamed on Cody's and Bobby's streams respectively. And of course, Hungry Box with the with the juicy spectator view, and of course getting those awesome reactions that we're so accustomed to now. Yeah, it's been some really great performances coming out from Bobby recently, at least in the online sphere. It's really a dang shame that he didn't get to come out for Function. I don't know exactly what the reason was. I know he had a pretty solid one at that, but would love to see a really great IRL performance from Bobby soon.
You know what we got coming up here in just a few days already? Smash Summit 13 is once again upon us, and I should have spent some time actually pulling up everybody who's going, because look, this is not what people would say is the most stacked summit in recent memory, but I don't think you should like stop focusing there. I think you should focus in on the fact that we have 6 great players who have been invited, players like Mango and Plup. By the way, Plup was missing from Smash Summit 12, so for the Plup Club, you are super happy about this, that Plup was invited this time. But then you have all the vote-ins. Sorry, go ahead. And the play-ins. So Nun and Jmook. I mean, because of their Genesis 8 runs, you also get to see players like Nun and Jmook going to Summit as well. And this is coming up here already this weekend. I just my brain is splitting trying to comprehend after all this crazy Melee that we've had in the past month. We get even more crazy Melee. Right now, 0.5 is happening. This is it, people. This is the Melee that you want almost right every night. It is awesome.
Yeah, and we're getting our first Cloud9 sponsored 0.5. So I know it was formerly held at Mango's house, and it was definitely kind of like a homey atmosphere. 2-3 streams running at once, lots of great friendlies popping off. I know Leffen and Armada would have side streams going on back in the day, and of course Mango got the mainstream rocking 24/7 during the 0.5s. But I haven't got the chance to check out the 0.5 quite yet. I was working all day, but I know that Cloud9 has a very heavy hand in, with the production quality, with making sure everyone's fed, with making sure that all the amenities are taken care of. But I will say a very exciting summit. Unfortunately, Pipsqueak actually tested positive for COVID as a result of Function. So I believe Pipsqueak actually getting snubbed from Summit for the second time in a row. So gonna see hopefully an extended invitation to Pipsqueak once again in the next one. But I feel really bad, man. Definitely a lot of controversial tweets as a result of that as well, but we'll hop into that in a second. But similarly to how Plup wasn't there last time, Amsa notably absent, I believe attending one of his best friend's weddings back in Japan. Similarly to I'm going to a wedding in Florida this upcoming weekend, so I won't be able to be super attentive to Summit this weekend, so we'll be checking out some VODs probably at the end of the night. But yeah, we have some really hot talent coming in. We have a Jmook who is absolutely grinding it out at 0.5 right now. I know Mango has become a very, very fast fan of Jmook. I believe making some pretty quick friends with him. Lod looking like the best modern Peach right now. And it's really difficult to even contest. I know Triff and Polish both very, very good. Ryo Beat, of course, technical monster, but Lod is looking like a different kind of beast. The X, Y, and Z implementation, where you can change those button mappings around, have really done wonders for his playstyle, and I know that he's been absolutely raving about it. So definitely a more comfortable technical monster for an extended punish game. And of course, Lod being an absolute genius in neutral, coming from Brawl, patient and dissective style of neutral games, very fitting coming from a surgical resident himself. And of course, can't ignore the slice and dice from Zane. Another opportunity for Leffen to come out and prove himself. I know he made a great show in the show matches during the LACS, the most recent LACS, but of course got some pretty monstrous food poisoning and couldn't make a run in the bracket. Cody looking as consistent and as top level as he has been in the last year or two. And of course, None. We can't ignore the explosive factor that is, coming back to stage with a None stomp. The absolute threat of 0 to death at every point of the game, and the ever-present and looming titan of Hungry Box. Of course, a deep bracket threat at all points, but definitely has shown some cracks in the last few years during the online era. I know splitting a lot of his time with Ultimate and developing an incredible stream community. So you can't count the box out. The Clutch God is always looming in the back corner, ready to take your soul and take your stock and take your bracket life away with him. So it's going to be an exciting weekend. It really is.
You know, I'm thinking about the invited players. We got the voted in players. We got Dark Gen X, we got Blue, we got Salt, we have Frenzy, Kadoran, and Joshman or Sora, however you wanna take it. I'm really looking forward to the possibility of once again Summit 13 being an event where during a set that matters, one player taking at least one set for this entire tournament, because in Smash Summit 12, we all remember that was the first tournament where that happened ever. And that was super cool. But the reason why it was the first time ever is because it's actually really hard when you have top heavy brackets where you got Mango, and in the past Armada, in the past Mewtwo King, in the past players like, okay, you know what, I'll just stick with the Zanes and the Hungry Boxes of the world. But all that to say, and Leffen, sorry Leffen, all that to say, I don't know that it actually will be the case that a player like Dark Gen X or Blue can take a set off of, well, I would say the top 6 in my mind being Hungrybox, Plup, IBDW, Zane, Mango, and Leffen. But I'm really hoping that they can all at least make a good run, or have a good time and show everybody their personalities and why they deserve to be there, especially players like Frenzy and Blue, who we don't get to see a lot of on a national scale. And of course, I was minorly involved with the Salt campaign to get Conduit Gaming. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Creastab. I'm sorry. Conduit Gaming and Hearthstone TV's very own Salt into Summit 13. I'm hoping to see Salt pop off as well. But Kadoran is easily the player that you look at and you say, Kadoran as a voted in player, that's the person who could go the furthest in bracket. And after having a disappointing Summit 12 where he actually finished, I want to say, well, however it breaks down, 13th place, did not advance at all in the final bracket because of Free Palestine actually taking a set off. But if Kadoran can dodge 1 or 2 Sheiks right away on the final day, I think Kadoran can go on a nice run. It just depends on how soon does a player like Jmook or Leffen or Plup come into Kadoran's bracket. That's the question there. Shout outs to Edwin for pointing out correctly, yes, there are 3 Sheiks. It's so hard for me to remember. It's so hard for me to remember that Leffen plays Sheik against Marth now. So three Sheiks is enough to give players like Kadoran a little bit of worry. And I hope that somebody can challenge Zane. But like Edwin said in his Monday Morning Marth article, it's so hard to pick anybody else other than Zane to win this event because of the dominance we've seen at Pound and at Genesis 8. But I'm curious about your thoughts, Hada.
You know, as far as votings goes, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Frenzy's a pretty decent wild card. I think Frenzy could maybe take a set or 2 if they have a really good warm-up, if they're playing well in pools, but I don't think they make a deep run in bracket. You know, shout outs to the UK scene. They're amazing, always hyping up their players, and I think this is a really good opportunity for Frenzy to make a run. I think you did a great job dissecting. I think Kadoran, out of the votings, has the, at least on paper, best shot to make a run, to at least outperform a lot of their peers in the votings. But something that I am interested in is that I've gained from watching Josh Man's stream as of this past week, over the weekend. Sora almost playing exclusively Sheik in the couple streams that I've been watching them. And I know Josh Man is very talented with Marth. They're, of course, amazing with Fox. And Sora saying that he is officially Sheik build. Super inspired by the performances and playstyle of Jmook, and he's just a goofy lad, and I'm not gonna give him all too much credit that he's gonna whip out the Sheik, but it's possible. If Sora runs into a Kadoran, if Sora runs into maybe a Zane, the Sheik might come out. Especially against someone like a Kadoran, if the Fox isn't doing it, if he doesn't want to Marth, I think our Australian friend might whip out his Sheik, and his Sheik was performing very well in the friendlies that I saw on his stream. But do I see Dark Gen X taking a set? It's not a zero opportunity. Do I think it's a great opportunity for content and to get a little better at the game? For sure. I think Justin's a great player. Justin is a very, very, very good player. Is he as good as Blue? Probably. Could he beat Frenzy? it's possible. Could he upset Salt? That's a little bit of a stretch. Maybe upset Josh, man. Probably not. Don't see him beating Kadoran. And out of the invited players, that's a tall order, man. That's a tall order for our main man, Dark Genix. I think Blue's a pretty solid wild card, but for pure upset factor alone, I'm not looking any further than Salt. I think Salt has amazing peaks, taking online sets over the likes of IBDW. And most importantly, I think just the work ethic that we have seen in the last year or so, the support system that they've gained from Pre-Stab, Conduit Gaming, and of course Trinity and Heartswap has been second to none. And I think their technical skill and their ability to adapt is, at least their technical skill, definitely at the highest echelon of players. And it really boils down to, I think they just need that big stage, that top level, that deep tourney run experience. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for Salt to make that jump from your hopeful up and comer with a couple big peak wins to consistent, deep top 16, even 9th place, top 8 level threat. So I'm really pulling for Salt. I think Salt has a really good shot to really make a stamp in the Melee community this weekend.
I'd love to see that. And if they have a side bracket or a side event where Dark Genix gets to show off the Giga Bowser, I had Dark Genix on the podcast recently. He said no one's beaten his Giga Bowser yet, including Kadoran playing as Marth. So okay, great. I would love to see stuff for Dark Genix to be able to shine more. If maybe perhaps the Melee in the regular sense and the regular bracket stuff doesn't necessarily work out for him. I'm excited to see this event in general, which of course you can catch on BTS Smash on Twitch. You already know where to go. As of now, there's no official announcement as to who will be replacing Pipsqueak, but if I go by convention, they like to have an alternate in either a VIP kind of a thing, or if you have a Genesis 8 play-in, who was the person who would come in? That'd be Keizu.
Kalamazoo.
Yeah, that'd be Keizu. But, short of that, I don't know as of now. You don't know as of now. Just watch. By the time I put this out later tonight, it'll be official. It'll be announced. And that's great. But we'll get to talk about that in the next episode of What's Happening in Melee. So, Hada, did you pick somebody to win? I'm sorry. I was trying to also see.
Victory screen, man. That's a tough one. That's a really toughie.
Wait.
I think
You're trying to justify somebody besides Zane in your head? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm trying. Like I'm reaching. Zane's the gimme answer. Yes. It really is. So I think what's more interesting is, like, I think Zane probably over the field, I would give 1 to 10 odds. I feel like Zane is the easy gambler's pick. I think 2nd through 4th is honestly a crapshoot.
It's just so hard.
Peak Mango can win if Mango's playing at top level, like the last summit. No, the 2 summits 4, because Cody won the last summit.
Yeah,
oh my
Summit
god,
11.
Cody won the last summit. That's actually.
But Mango had a nice losers run in Summit 12. Just ran out of gas in grand finals.
Yeah,
it's all good. So we have to.
Yeah, Mango has. I think a pink Mango could do something. I think Juan has the potential to really shake up the bracket. I think Jmook can shake up the bracket, and it really depends on where the chips fall. Like, does Cody winning game 5 as opposed to losing game 5 to Zane at Genesis? That could be a huge shakeup. If Zane falls into losers and has to run through a Jmook, has to run through a Juan, has to run through a hot playing Mango, or even has to run into like a crazy Nun run. Nun I think has that one shot potential. Left and Sheik, I think this is a really cool potential for, if you're taking the gambler's fallacy, if you really want to make sure you make an educated guess, I think Zane is probably going to win, but there is a lot of variables to take into account. I think if Leffen's playing hot, if Mango's playing hot, if Cody's playing hot, and like this has to be a 90 to 100% capacity player of these guys. But what's scary is that a B+ quality Zane wins the event.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Just that level of consistency, that level of pressure, dynamic consistency in the neutral game, and of course the brutal punish game coming out from the Red Marth, man.
Red Marth, man, too good. But you get into a rhythm where you start to get used to winning events. You just know how to do it, and And for Summit, this is the grinders tournament. You just get to play so much Melee. And Zane is the kind of person who knows how to pace himself, knows how to get in the quality Melee that he needs, has plenty of practice partners for the tournament since there seems to be a lot of great character variety. But for my dark horse candidate, I'll pick Leffen because the pound set got scuffed by the TV stuff. Although I think Leffen should have just played out that game. That's neither here nor there. The point is that if Leffen brings the Sheik and brings it proper, has a nice run, I think that's the most likely alternative option for first place. But we got to wrap up. So tell the people where they can find you, Hada. I'm so sorry. We're already...
No, you're totally fine. It's an exciting week in Melee. We got to play a little bit of a Melee Guessr. We got to run through some great Summit developments, some really cool Twitter stuff going on. But more than anything, guys, you can find me at Hey Hada on Twitch, Twitter, and at Hada on YouTube. And speaking of some Dark Genix Giga Bowser, if you watch the end of my most recent combo video, there might be a 0 to death against Dark Genix's Giga Bowser in teams. But it was double Peach. He did get down smashed for like 180% into a reverse fair and got blown up. That might have been what happened. It is very funny. Like, it's a very funny clip. It's literally just like a Peach on one side plat, a Peach on the other, and they're bouncing this Giga Bowser back and forth into a reverse fair, and he just exploded. It was sick. So guys, please, it's on my YouTube channel. Please go check out the most recent combo video. It's a pretty clean split between singles and doubles. So if you like doubles, it's in there too. So, or if you just want to make fun of Justin's Giga Bowser. But it is a very good Giga Bowser, I'll be honest.
And you, of course, you can find me at Cypher003 on Twitter. The podcast is on at BSM Pod. You can find that everywhere, including the Patreon, patreon.com/BSM Pod. Thank you for supporting me there. Thank you for watching me and Hada talk Melee. And I'm excited to see y'all next week after Summit 13. Until then, hope y'all have a good one.
Bye, guys. Stay safe. Love each other. Hydrate, please.